Very special guest lined up for you today. Did you know that Master P was here? Did I mention Luther Vandross, the love doctor himself? I've got a private interview, you're gonna love it. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, Ron Isley and Angela Winbush, and Yolanda Adams. What more can you ask for? Let's go backstage and see what we can find. Shh, don't tell anybody I told you. Let's go. About to interview the one and only Luther Vandross. Come on, Luther, don't make me wait. So before you creep into my dreams, creep. You're not recording this, right? Oh man.
What's up, man? How you feeling? Man, yes, it's gonna be crazy.
Get that camera off.
How you doing?
I talked to Alan and Lois to do an interview.
Oh, Alan was right. Okay. Yeah, well, you know.
Okay. What do you want to say?
Oh, you want to do it right now? Okay. It's this table, so if you
okay.
can sit, that's fine.
Do you want to sit? Do you want to stand?
Sit.
Okay, we can sit right here.
Luther's singing to me. Are you getting this?
Y'all might sue me for ear.
Luther, honey, we won't sue you for anything. And my guest today is none other than the man himself, Mr. Luther Vandross. How you doing, Luther?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Oh, it's my pleasure to be here. I can't wait for the festivities to get started.
Oh, honey, they've already started right here.
I like that.
They've already started. Now, the purpose of our show is to showcase people who are living with purpose and passion, and you are definitely one of those people. And I remember reading an article on you, and you also talked about it just a little bit with our sister station, Troy Tyler, about J Records being on purpose, a new mission. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, first of all, J Records is an extension of Clive Davis's purpose and passion. And the dominoes or the stars, however you want to say it, were lined up so nicely due to the fact that I was available at a time when Clive was starting a new venture. You know how you love to get into something from the ground floor? Mm-hmm. You know, wouldn't you have loved to have been around when Pac-Man first started? Or, you know what I'm saying? You know, and put $1 into that, you know. But so when Clive called and asked me, I mean, it was exactly the situation I was looking for in my mind. In the front of my mind, but most of all in the back of my mind, you know. And I just totally loved, you know, going over there, and we met and we came up with an arrangement on how we would do the record, and it would all work. Both of us were very happy, and that was the beginning. And now at the end of the first project, we are both satisfied that we did the right thing.
And this new project, are you the writer of all your songs? Do you write all your lyrics?
In the past, I have written virtually all of them. This project, I pulled together all different writers. I think I only wrote maybe 2 or 2.5 of them this time. And because I wanted to hear, you know, I didn't want to only be known as somebody who could only sing his own songs. You know, not that anybody thought that anyway, but I wanted to gather around stuff, you know. And now it's so different because I used to go in the studio at noon and come out at 4 in the morning and then go back in at noon and come out at 5 in the morning. You know, now I can go in, sing my song, put my coat back on, and go see The Mummy Returns with my friends. You know, so
you have a life now.
I have a life.
Okay.
I didn't even know how to spell one before.
Okay. So now, in essence, you can even do a little bit more shopping.
Yeah, but you know what? Somehow I managed to fit that in. Yeah.
You know, I have a girlfriend who works at one of your favorite stores, Giorgio Armani, in New York.
In New York? Oh,
And I was visiting her in New York last year sometime, and she said and I was on my way to meet her, and she said, you just missed Luther. I saw he wouldn't have granted me an interview anyway, but at least I would have got a chance to see him. So how does it feel now that you can shop and you can go in the stores and say, I want this, that, and that? How does that feel?
Well, it's incredible because I used to always have to have all of my clothes made. And on one hand, it's nice to have things made for you. But on the other hand, you want to go and you want to shop where other men go and shop and, you know, just be around that whole festivity. If that's something that you missed out on, and it's something that because of the weight problem I always missed out on. Now, I prefer not to have clothes made, unless it's for stage, but I prefer not to have clothes made. I prefer to go buy them in the store. You know.
And as you can see with this gorgeous suit that he has on, this is reptile leather. What is this?
Oh, this whole thing.
This whole thing?
Yeah, that's alligator.
Is that alligator? I don't even know my reptiles. I'm so excited sitting up here about Luther, I can't even get it right. I was reading an article that said Janet Jackson sampled one of your, The Glow of Love or Change, which one was it? How did that come about?
You know what? I heard that in the car for the first time, so I didn't know that it was going to happen until I actually heard it. I heard it and I loved it. At first, for the first 3 seconds, I said, it sounds familiar, and then right away I knew what it was. And I started listening to it, and I loved it from the beginning. Because, well, you know Jimmy and Terry. Okay. You know they know how to do stuff, you know.
One of the great things about being Luther is that you've never been compared to anyone.
Yeah, that's actually a very important thing. It's one of the things I always, when asked what I would like to say to new artists, the up and coming artists, you know, and what advice I would give them. That's the main thing. You have to be unique. You have to not emulate anybody or any success that's already going on, you know.
Where do you see yourself, say, 5, 10, 20 years from now? Oh, and by the way, belated happy birthday to you. I was listening to the interview with you and Troy, so happy birthday to you. But where do you see yourself in, say, 5, 10 years from now? 20 years from now?
Well, 10 years from now, I see myself successfully executing more of the same. This is a chosen lifestyle. This is not anything I fell into serendipitously. You know, this is something that I wanted from the time I was 13 years old and saw Dionne Warwick in the Brooklyn Fox Theater. You know, I just said, I want that, I want that, I want that. And everything I did from then on, I wanted it, you know, and you know, I went through school and I did school, but in my mind, I always wanted this, you know. And I just, at one point, addressed that it was this or, I didn't make a plan B, in other words, for my life. No, because
You knew.
Not only did I knew, but I was willing to accept the rejections that came along with it in the beginning and everything, you know. And I didn't want to have a plan B because that would make me fall back on it, you know.
Workshops.
Well, thank you so much for your time and your patience. I sincerely appreciate it. And this is just a sample of what will happen when you follow your purpose and your passion in life. Thank you so much, Lou.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Much success to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Great.
Can I get a hug?
If you're involved in the producers workshop,
I get a chance to say that on camera. I say you look good.
producers.
Is it on? And you look good too. Keep up the good work. You inspire me.
R&B workshop, you need to be sitting there so there's no confusion. The hip hop workshop is right in front of me. If you're involved in the hip hop workshop, this is where you should be seated. Okay. And the gospel workshop, where's the gospel workshop? I think it's.
Please give Albert a round of applause. As we delicately, these things recline and everything, as we delicately, you know, position ourselves in these chairs.
Notice I don't have no mic no more.
His job is done, but we do. I had a routine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll shut up now.
I just want to say good morning. I'm Nikki with. And this is the panel for the Singers Workshop. Thank you. Thank you. I know you're here to see the man. It's not me. And of course, the man that needs no introduction, Mr. Luther Vandross, was kind enough to take time out of his very busy schedule to sit with us and discuss his singing career, how he approaches his singing career, and how it is a career and not just something that he does in order to help you guys figure out how you're going to approach your singing career. And he brought some key people with him. He brought Mr. Nat Adderley, who is sitting at the piano. And not only is Matt cute, but he also is the songwriting partner of Mr. Luther Vandross. And he did some key things that we're going to get into. When he's ready to play, he's ready to talk, he's ready to help us out here. So we're very privileged to have him. And then Mr. Ron Gilliard, who we just will say has no title. I walked in, I was like, I'm sorry, I don't know your title. I know you're important, but I just don't. He is the singer vice president of the new record label, J Records. If you haven't heard, J Records was founded by Clive Davis, the guru Clive Davis, who was intelligent enough to bring Luther Vandross in as well. So we have all of their knowledge and information at our fingertips, but we're just going to start with Luther, and we're going to let Luther talk for a while about his background, his career, and how he has maintained so long in this business, and then we're going to open it up for some questions, okay? All right, so sit back. I'm going to feel like Oprah here. We got the leather, we got the little bottle of water, we're ready. So let's start just a little bit about your background. Now, I know that you've done jingles, I know you've done commercials, and you did a lot of background work before it was Luther. It was just out there in front. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, for me, everything began. David Bowie accidentally heard me singing in a studio, and I was a kid, and I always had vocal ideas. I always had background vocal ideas. Even in the projects, and when we had my little group together, I was the one that gave out all the parts and all the harmonies and stuff. And so I was in the studio visiting Carlos Alomar, who I went to school with, who had gotten the gig playing with Bowie. And I'm listening to the music, and I say to one of our friends, I said, it sounds good. I said, but it needs a hook phrase or something. I said, because, it doesn't have any hook phrase. And I started singing, the name of the album was Young Americans. And I started singing, it needs something like Young Americans, Young Americans. And Bowie, I didn't know he was sitting there listening to this whole thing. And he stood up, who are you, blah, blah, blah. And so he took me on the road with him. And that was the way things began. He introduced me to Bette Midler. Bette took me on the road with her. I was the, Bette has the background series, the 3 called the Harlots. I've known I was the 4th harlot for years, because I used to sit behind the curtain.
You were a harlot.
I used to sit behind the curtain and sing with my, microphone stand and music and everything. And for years I toured with Bette. And then Bette introduced me to a producer, which you all probably know, named Arif Martin. Arif Martin, who produced, yes. Chaka Khan and Ringo Starr and Carly Simon and all of those artists. And that's how everything got started. From then it was just connecting all the rest of the dots.
And how did you connect the rest of the dots? I mean, I know that it probably took you a lot longer. Some people just automatically, they see you and they think that you just got there, like that you were discovered in this. So I know that you did a lot of different work. Like I said before, you did some jingles and you did commercials and you did a lot of background work. And then I know you had this prestigious position of the president of Patti LaBelle's fan club.
Oh, yeah.
So
I was, yeah. That was even before all of that.
Oh,
that
really?
was when I was 17, yeah. The Apollo Theater, we had a group. We were in a group called Listen My Brother, which was owned and managed by the people who owned the Apollo Theater. And we used to get to see all the shows free. We could go into the Apollo anytime we wanted and see any show. That was one of the real big perks. We could go see. So I used to be able to see, Chuck Jackson and Benny King and the Shirelles and Dionne Warwick and Aretha 3 and 4, because they were like three shows a day. That's how the Apollo went. Just like the Regal here. That was the circuit. It was the Apollo, the Regal, and then the Uptown in Philadelphia.
okay, yeah.
And so that's about 3 or 4 years of this jingle singing and stuff brought me to the attention of Patty Austin, who had who hired me to come and sing background vocals on a Quincy Jones album called Stuff Like That, Sounds and Stuff Like That. And Quincy heard me sing, the background parts and asked me to do 2 duets on the album. And I remember asking them, I said, now, do y'all make a lot of money? Y'all make any money doing them jingles? And they laughed. They just laughed for like 10 minutes. Okay, So they started calling me for jingles, and that's how that got started.
What is one of your more famous jingles?
I mean, I did Pepsi Cola, I did NBC, Proud as a Peacock.
Did you do like a margin, like a butter commercial?
Oh, no, I don't remember butter. I didn't do butter.
I remember a butter commercial.
I did Juicy Fruit, and Reach Out and
Can
Touch
you sing
Someone's
one for
G.
us?
Okay.
So, like, close your eyes and imagine Luther singing a jingle.
Let's see. Okay.